Hey everybody, kind of been having a break-even run the last couple drafts, so feeling pretty good about this one. Figured I'd give recording another go, see how it goes. Well, it's a good one to open. Lyra is basically just kill this card or you lose. Fight with Fire is pretty crazy. It's just good like in any deck. It's worth splashing sometimes. Like if you get a really good green deck that can splash 2 reds, it's really good. Green red, it's super good. You have a lot of ramp and you can get to 9 fairly easy if you have the right deck. So if Lyra wasn't in the pack, we'd pick this. Next best card's probably Eviscerate, then Llanowar. Slyn, I think I've seen it cast once for 8 mana, and then it got killed by a 4 mana removal. Just not great. Like, blue decks aren't very often getting to 10 mana. Yeah, I mean, maybe it could be a sideboard card sometimes, like just 2 super control-y blue decks. But yeah, obviously we're just gonna snap pick this Lyra. So we picked Lyra, and makes me kind of want to go Gideon's Reproach. But Blue-White Flyers is really broken. Picking 2 5-drops as your first 2 drops, kind of meh, but this card is just so good. Like, you get a Scry 2, which late game it's often just like draw 2 to put some lands down at the bottom. So it's definitely between these two. I don't think this card is good enough to pick over Cloud Reader Sphinx. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but I don't know, the power level of Sphinx is just way higher than Reproach. Other than that, this pack is kind of weak. Like, there's still a Saproling, obviously good in any green deck. Sergeant-at-Arms is actually not bad. It's good against aggro decks, and it's good against control decks as well, because it makes 2 soldier tokens. It's decent in the black decks because it gives food for Thallid Omnivore. Yargle I'm never impressed with. I've seen a few people try to build mill decks, but it almost never works. This guy is very polarizing. He can sometimes just win you the game on turn 3. And other times he gets you like 2 for 1 or 3 for 1, or if you don't have an aura or equipment, he just sits there and does nothing. So I think you have to have basically the perfect deck for this guy, but when you do, he's insane. I've never made a deck with this guy, but I've lost to this card like quite a few times, just because I couldn't answer it on turn 3, and then it just gets out of control. But yeah, I think we're going to take Sphinx here. So the first thing to catch my eye, Memorial, obviously it's just a solid value card. Deep Freeze for some removal, which if we're fighting in the air, this is just like hard removal basically. And then Skittering Surveyor. We don't know for sure that we're either blue or white. I mean, we really want to try to be white, but we didn't really see any great white cards last pack. Not really any in this pack either. This is just a pretty bad pack though. So I kind of want to take Surveyor. It also helps us make sure we hit our 5 drops. And if we wind up in not white or blue, it'll help us splash like Sphinx or something. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Surveyor. It's close, like Deep Freeze is good too, but yeah, I kinda wanna stay open. Well, I mean, if any deck's gonna play this, it could be ours, because we have the Surveyor. Again, I've never really seen Joda. I don't think I've ever seen it cast before. It'd be cool to see the ability actually matter, but I doubt that will ever happen. This guy I haven't really been impressed with. He could save our Lyra, I guess, if we have 5 mana open, which, I don't know. If they're not answering it on turn 5, they're going to have a hard time answering it anyway. Like when we drop them, I guess, and we're never going to play them on turn 10 with 10 mana open or whatever, so. Invoke is a good sideboard card. Like, if you need a 23rd card, it can be that sometimes, but I often don't run it main deck. Sap Herd is good, but I don't really think we want to pick it with the cards that we have now. Arcanist is fine, especially in blue, because his ability actually comes up quite a bit. Thallid is very strong. But again, I don't think it's strong enough to where we want to go into a different color. If we take this, it's a 4 mana, 4/3 flyer. I don't really know if it's worth it. Like, if we get another Surveyor, we might play it. I don't think we're going to have any troubles getting another Arcanist or an Invoke. There's just not a lot of upside to this guy. I mean, a 4/3 flyer for 4 is fine. But having to make your mana base worse is oftentimes not worth it. I don't know, this is a tough pick. I kind of want to just take this for fun, because I've never seen him before. So I think we might just do that. He's a wizard, that might matter. Maybe we wind up like blue-red wizard splashing white for some reason to play this guy. I don't know, we're gonna do it, it's fun. And we're not missing out on a lot here. Man, these packs are just not very good. I guess black might be kind of open. Don't really want to take a 6-drop. We have a 4 and 2 5s already. This guy is not bad though. Like, if you get to 6 mana, if you have kind of a control-y deck and can get to 6 mana, he often just holds down the house, keeps you alive, so you can do all your broken stuff. This card is not very good because mill is not a thing. It's only 3 cards anyway. 4, I guess it adds 4 cards back to your deck. Pierce is a great sideboard card. Flyers are often a win condition for a lot of decks. I don't know, I guess we just take the Soothsayer. Maybe black is open. I don't know. It's kind of a rough start here. So, maybe just all of these packs have been super bad. I don't know. Like, Precognition Field is not terrible, especially in like a deck like this, where we kind of want to go control-y and like ground dorks, and then get to our big bombs. Or we could just go Syncopate. And judging by the draft, how the draft has gone so far, we might struggle to find out what we're in and get enough playables. So maybe Syncopate. This card is just super slow, so you really want to board it in against other slow decks. I think we're just going to take Syncopate and hopefully try to move into like blue-white. There's Slyn again going around the table. Not surprising. I don't know if this should be going that late. We'll just take Knight. Dampening Sphere is never getting cast in limited. So it's between these two. They're both Knights, which matters sometimes if you get like history or wind up going black-white with the 4/4 Vigilance Knight rare card. Yeah, none of these other cards are any good. We already have one of these. It can get blocked by like the Saproling decks fairly easily, so we'll just take the Honor Guard. Board the Weatherlight. Can be good, like maybe we wind up with a bunch of historic cards, and then it could find like this, or this, or this. It's oftentimes not very good. But I think the upside is better than Invoke the Divine, especially when we have a card like Lyra. It's like 99% of the time I would take this. This is like one of the very few times where I might even consider playing this card. I mean, often we'll pick this and we won't wind up playing it. But if this is wheeling, we probably won't have a hard time getting it within the next 2 packs. I'm going to go ahead and take Board the Weatherlight. Again, nothing great. Yargle's super unimpressive. A 5-drop that gets killed by, you know, Saprolings, gets killed by 3-drops, gets killed by 2-drops. It's just not, this hasn't performed very well for me. This guy's okay. I don't mind this in like blue-red wizards, especially if you have some Adelises. Maybe we wind up black, I don't know. Hopefully not, but don't really want another 5-drop. But again, we're really struggling here, so our mana base is looking a little sketchy already, but we don't want either one of these. Divest. I'm not a big fan of this card. Like, I'm never a fan of these kind of cards in Limited, but sometimes you can bring it in if they just have something you can't answer, and you have to hope that they like have it in your hand, or you get lucky and draw it in your opening hands where it actually does something and don't draw it late game. Well, we went from fairly bad packs to like insane pack. We would really like, we might think about playing that, but really it's between these two, and Icy Manipulator is just so hard to beat. Wouldn't even mind the Sentry. So yeah, I think we'll take up Manipulator and maybe hope to wheel like one of these white cards or Divination Deep Freeze. Wouldn't mind Deep Freeze. We have no removal so far, so Manipulator does help on that front. This guy's a solid card. I really like it because, say you play a 2-drop and a 3-drop, he really promotes playing combat tricks, because you drop him on turn 4 and attack with like 2 or 3 creatures, and you can still cast a combat trick to either kill their guy or kill them. Time of Ice is solid. We don't have any removal, so sometimes this is not great, and then other times it's pretty solid. We're not really struggling on the creatures front, so I think I want to take this, like, again, just to buy us time and get us to our 5-drops. You can also find it with Board the Weatherlight, which is another incentive to actually play this card. Fungal Plots is great. Like, it just turns all of your guys into Saprolings, and then it basically reads gain 2 life. You know, like, you have 2 creatures die. It makes every creature a half a draw, basically. Not really worth splashing, because you do need 2 mana to create a Saproling. If you're in like a really control-y deck and slow, I can see maybe splashing it. Other than that, Call is a good card. Grow from the Ashes, obviously not bad. I'm actually coming around on this Arbor Armament, because green decks struggle to deal with flyers, like game 1 at least. They have the Spider, and that's about it. So this trick is not bad. It allows you to kill flyers, and it also keeps the counter on there. which is a lot different than other tricks where, you know, you just trade like 1 for 1 and then that's it. This is good because you trade 1 for 1, but then you also get to keep the counter. Fungal Infection's a solid card. Knight of Malice, obviously, really good card. Premium 2-drop, but yeah, we're going to take this Time of Ice. We have a really high curve already. Probably taking Drake. I feel like when I first started Dominaria, everybody was pretty high on this card, like picking this card and trying to play it. I just don't think it's that good. Like, you trigger it a couple times, even if you trigger it 2 or 3 times, it does 6 damage, and then does nothing, basically dies to everything, hardly trades with anything. This is a great card. There's a lot of removal in this format, so having a land that can bring back like your biggest threat is pretty valuable. Chainer's Torment, again, not a big fan. I used to think it was okay, gain 4 life and then make a huge dude, but huge ground dudes often don't do much. There's a lot of removal, bounce, that just deals with this, and you take half your life and die to a flyer or something. Good sideboard card against Saprolings, that's about it. Cyclops, not great. He dies just like even 2-drops, like 2 2-drops double blocking him. He dies too, and he doesn't even kill. Academy Drake it is. Well, board 2 board the Weather Lights. That might be too much. If we do that, we really want to like start picking up more artifacts. I don't know. It gets Icy Manipulator as well. It's actually not terrible. I think we're gonna take it. Like, we don't really want anything else here. We're just really hoping to get some good historic cards now, which that is one. And why is that still in here? That's crazy. This card is so good, and I just never see it played because nobody plays black-red. Like, red is not a great color in the first place, and it doesn't pair well with black. Like, really the only thing red goes great with is blue, and that's blue-red wizards. It's late Academy Drake, we wouldn't mind picking up one of those. Honestly, we would probably play some of these, especially now that we have Zahid. Decent card, can get some damage in the air, as long as you have stuff to protect you on the ground. But yeah, we're not passing this. So let's get these black cards out of here. There's a Divination, that's great. Like, pack 1 was weak for us, but this second pack is doing really well. I've never really seen this guy do anything. Maybe if you didn't have to tap him, it would be a lot better. Even then, you're just not, you just never have that many artifacts in play. And if you do, you're not really wanting to sacrifice them. Key 2 Chronicler, obviously solid in any red deck. Omnivore's going late, which this card is just, I don't know, I think this might be the best common. Maybe something like Eviscerate is better, but I don't know, this guy oftentimes, it takes any of your creatures and lets them trade up. It's like they have a 4 or 5 drop that's a 4/5 or a 5/5. You can often just trade like 2 of your guys, or even just 1, and they'll trade up. But we're taking Div. Another Sphinx, huh? So we're getting super heavy. We'll probably take this out. I don't know if we probably won't want to play this, but we'll see. So we have maybe a 4-drop, which if we can reliably play this guy on 4, which is not looking like we can yet, only this. Yeah, I think we just picked this. Like, we don't have that many. Like, we probably won't want any after this, but who knows. War Chief, I've never really seen his ability matter. He doesn't. There aren't that many goblins in the set. Like, even if you give Siege Gang haste, like, I don't know, maybe it surprises them for extra 5 damage if they have no blockers or something, but it's not great. This guy I've really come around on. Like, obviously you want to play him in aggressive decks, and then sometimes late game he'll just win you the game. This guy I'm not a big fan of. The only time I've ever seen him be good is in blue-white decks where they have the 4-mana Flash Flyer, and then he like can save the flyer or another historic permanent you have. Don't really want any of this, but this is the only thing in our color. Another divination. Yeah, we'll scoop that up. These divinations make me not really want to play Board the Weatherlight, but again, we'll see if we get any more historic pack 3. I don't think we're playing this at the moment, but that's fine. Fungal infection's super late. Unwind, who knows, we might wind up boarding it in. I doubt we'll ever play this, but Fiddle, probably never playing that. Like, there's never a situation where you really want this card, like, or actively wanting it. It's a fine 23rd card just because it cantrips, but other than that, it's always going on the sideboard. Seismic Shift I love. This is like one of my favorite cards from the set. Just because you always wheel it, and the decks that want it, it's basically like wins you the game. Like, you have a couple creatures on board, they have 2 blockers, puts them down land. A lot of people like to splash, so it can take them off a splash. Gets in a ton of damage. Running like 2 of these in your aggressive decks is... I'm a real big fan. There's a third Board the Weatherlight for us, obviously. Don't want that. Squee would be good with all the Board the Weatherlights. But looks like we'll probably just take an Academy Drake. Not a great pack for us. I mean, obviously we're not too sad about an Academy Drake. We're playing blue-white flyers. As it looks now, we don't really have much to like keep us alive, like hold us down on the ground. So we have 1 Drake. Maybe we want the Sergeant at Arms. Seems kind of crazy, and I don't think so. Like, we'll just prioritize getting some ground stuff to keep us alive in this last pack, I think. Another fight with fire. we could have had a pretty good. Like, our white cards are not looking super strong. We only have these. So we probably could have transitioned into red, but I think it's too late now. We have 2, 3, 4, 5. And we still, if we took those out, we would only have 14 cards, and then we need 9 playables from this pack. Probably not happening. I have this as well. This is a really good card to keep us alive on the ground, and we can find it with Board the Weatherlight. The Eldest Reborn. I mean, I feel like I'm playing it in almost all my black decks, and it's again, it's a pretty polarizing card. Like, there are times where it's just going to be amazing, and then there are times where it's not going to be great. Like, if you can play it on curve, and you have a lot of removal where you're removing their little guys that don't mean much, and then they play like their bomb, and it's alone, and they sack it, then they have to discard, and then you get their bomb back, it's insane. But it's always going to be, like, decent, right? You're always going to get a creature back. Most of the time they're going to discard a card. It might not be an important card, but a card nonetheless. Healing Grace, it's okay if you're playing like a white aggressive deck and need some combat tricks. This card is decent if you have bombs like this, and Zahid. But like I said, we need something to keep us alive, and this does that very well. I didn't really like this at first, but it's come around in my ratings for sure because it just never dies. Like, they're never gonna use an exile on it unless it wins in the game, basically. And if they have a chance of killing it, you just don't block with it, right, until you leave up 2 mana. Like, 2 mana is not a ton either to give it indestructible. So yeah, we're gonna take this. That is pretty solid. I like this a lot. This helps a ton. This keeps us alive on the ground. We can get back Skittering Surveyor with it. If they somehow manage to deal with Wall or our Manipulator, it also gets that back. Just a great pickup for us. If that wasn't in the pack, probably just take this. Yeah, nothing else is very good. Halar is solid in green-red, but again, I don't think green-red is very good. Like, you're not kicking that many spells to make this guy huge and deal a ton of damage. I mean, he might get 1 or 2 counters a game, but not great overall, just because green-red is not great. But yeah, this is a great pickup for us. Our curve is super heavy. Man, we would love to play this card. This card is so busted. We have 2 2-drops, 3 2-drops. I think I'm going to pick this though. It helps us cast Zahid, and we can find it with Board the Weatherlight. Again, I know we don't have much stuff on the ground, but we still have some picks left. Hopefully we can find some more. I've never really seen this guy. I think I've seen him resolved once, and I don't even know why they were playing it. They didn't even have any artifacts. Maybe just they were short on playables. This guy can be okay. He's not great, but sometimes I'll often put him in the board and then sometimes side him in against like aggressive decks if I need to lower my curve. Because he'll trade with some 2 and 3 drops, which is kind of what you're looking for when you're getting run over. But yeah, we're going to take this, be down in the air, and find it with our Board the Weatherlight. Helps us cast the Heed, just a decent pickup. Gideon's Reproach does help us live early. We wouldn't mind this Memorial. But yeah, we're lacking removal. We have no removal, basically, which is where our deck's really going to struggle. If they play a bomb, we're going to have a hard time beating it unless we can kill them in the air quickly. So let's take Reproach. Yeah, well, we were talking about struggling, staying alive. This guy kind of helps. It's just a stupid creature on the ground, but we think about taking Vicious Offering and splashing black. If we had like maybe 1 or 2 more black removals, I would pick that up, but we're just gonna take this. Okay, so Arcanist helps us cast divs, boards, Syncopate, not a ton, but he is a 1/3 2-drop that can help us live. I would rather have that than this. We don't want Befuddles. All of these cards are solid for being this late, except for ours. This guy's solid. We're gonna take him. Another wall. We gotta start looking at our curve here though. Like, how many 4-drops do we have? Probably don't want to play this guy. I don't even think this guy's worth it. We'll see when it comes to deck building, but Yeah, we're not doing this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not too many. But yeah, this card's fine. I think it'll actually be decent in our deck. Well, there it is. Okay, so does this do anything for us? I don't think we have any historics that we would want to bounce. Plus, we don't really want another 5-drop. I guess we could bounce Surveyor. That's really the only thing that we benefit from bouncing. These walls also help us cast Zahid, which is really good. I don't know, maybe in slower decks we'll just want the 4/4 body. There's no way we're playing 3 of these. Or are we? I kind of want to, just to say I played 3 of them, but no, we'll take this guy. Maybe we'll board him in. Healing Grace. Help keep us alive. We'll take Curator's Ward. Maybe we're playing against like a really removal heavy deck and we'll want to board it in. Does this do anything for us? We'll let us scry a lot. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We do have quite a few. How many creatures? We have quite a few creatures. So I don't think we want this. I don't know, we'll take this. Probably not play it. I'm not... I don't mind this card. Like, I think it's a decent card. Makes your guy bigger, and then... Basically, if you have a bomb that you don't want to die, you put it on there, and unless it gets bounced, you'll get it back to your hand. There is some exile. You can get 2 for 1 with it sometimes, but I think it's a lot better than a lot of the other auras. This card is almost always last pick. I think I've seen it cast once, maybe. Alright, on to deck building. That was kind of a a rocky draft. It was really weird. Like it was that first pack. I think everybody just opened like a really bad packs. So we kind of struggled to find out what we wanted to do. I think we kind of got there. Like our curve actually doesn't look bad. We have a lot of flyers to win the game with. We have ways to stay alive on the ground. We have manipulator and walls. They deal with basically anything on the ground. We have a couple dorks to stop really aggro-y decks. I don't know. This actually might be one of the decks for Relic Runner. Like, we don't mind trading it off early, and it will get us in quite a bit of damage because we have so many historic cards. Our only problem is we have literally 0 removal. We have 1 Gideon's Reproach. So I can see us losing because of that. Like, if we would have got picked up, you know, like 1 Blessed Light, and maybe 1 of the enchantment removal that turns our guys into 0/4s, this deck would look way better. But as it is, I think we are going to lose some games because we don't have any bounce, we don't have any removal. So we'll see. We're going to hope to just curve out and kill people in the air before they can drop ridiculous stuff and we can't answer it and then we die. I don't think we want this. It will help us scry a lot. So yeah, as expected, just a ton of creatures, not very many non-creatures. That's gonna help us trade up, which again is what we're trying to do, like early game. Legendary creature, we have 2. I don't think we want this. We have a lot of 3-drops. Maybe we cut one of these. No, because again, we kind of just want guys to hold down the fort. until we can start dropping like our 4 and 5 drops. So we need to cut 2 cards. We might actually wind up playing the Scryland. Yeah, and it helps us dig for our bombs. And our mana base is not rough, like we only have 1 double white card. And oftentimes we're not playing this for double blue, we'll be playing it for 4 mana. So let's see here, top 5 cards, and we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 out of 30, like 3, 32. What's the math on that? Like, I don't know. I'm not sure. Let's pull up our calculator here. 8 out of 33. So we'll have a 24% chance. Maybe my math is way off. I don't even know if this is right, but that's what it's looking like. We'll have a 24% chance to like see 1 in 1 card. So this has got to be good, right? Then out of 5, it's going to be really hard for us to miss. So I think that's fine, and we don't really want to cut any non-creature cards because we already have enough creatures. So let's find some bad creatures to cut. I think we do want this because, again, we have 8 historic cards, which is pretty solid. He will get in a lot of damage. I do kind of want this for the Scries. It's just a 1-1. Like, do we want a 1-1 that will get in some damage and help us get to our bombs and stuff that will keep us alive? Probably. I don't think I've ever put this in a deck before, but this is like one where I actually kind of want it. Yeah, let's get rid of this. And then probably a 3-drop. So do we think we can stay alive if we take out this and our 3/1 2-drop? Just gonna keep back early guys. My only concern is that they play like a 4/4 or something on 4. Even like a 3/2 will give us a lot of trouble. But then once we get to 4, we have all of this stuff. I think that'll be okay. This is a super weird deck. I've never built a deck like this before ever, and I think it looks really cool. I just have no idea if it will work. So I've never built one like this, so I don't know. I don't know if we're building it correctly or not, but we will find out. Yeah, we don't have very many white cards, but we do have the double white Lyra. So I don't think we'll do this. Put in 1 more white card. So 9/7 and this, that should be fine. We could even do 8/8. Because we do... I mean, it's not really super necessary that we hit this on like turn 2 or 3. And we definitely want to be able to hit this on turn 5, like anytime we draw. We don't have any double blue except for this. Yeah, let's do 8/8. Where do we? I mean, we do have 13 blues and 5. Yeah, okay, I think 9-7 is fine. Because it is way more important that we hit our blue drops early. And we do have a 1-drop blue card. We have Skittering Surveyor to help, like, hit our second white, too. Alright, this deck is really cool. Like, I don't know if it'll be any good, but it's cool. Let's take it in, see how it goes. We have a ton of flyers. Like, I can see us losing to, like, them playing a big flyer. We can answer, like, a kicked Academy Drake, even. Or, I'm not really sure how we're going to get past, like, a Cloud Reader Sphinx. I guess we just have to, like, Icy Manipulator or Time of Ice it. We do have the one Reproach to kill. Yeah, cool deck. Let's see how it goes. I actually like this too, because we can scry into our crazy stuff. So let's get it going. I'll be back for round 1.